right, welcome back again, guys, to Bryce the Prince Gaming. Yeah, we're going on 3 weeks in a row now here. I'm really excited to get back into this. One thing I didn't really mention last week, it was kind of seen, and it was definitely up on my channel for last week, was I had my logo and my new header, but I didn't get to point them out really because I had recorded that video a little bit before, not knowing if I'd have the logo quite yet. And so yeah, I've got the logo, I've got my logo here, I've got my header here. I'm all set up for, you know, doing streams, doing all kinds of things, but today we're playing the Stanley Parable. But before we do that, this logo, this header, they were created by Spects Gaming TV, or Spects for short. Great designs. And yeah, like I said, I never really wanted to make anything too serious, but let's start hopping into it, and we'll talk a little bit more about this as we begin the game. But I really just wanted to give you guys kind of a more official looking thing, even though, like I said, this is just kind of a thing I'm doing for fun. I'm not really taking myself too seriously as a streamer by any means. But yeah, I just wanted to be all set up and you know, have things look nice. So, but let's hop into Stanley Parable 2. All right, yeah, last time was a weird ending. I have something in mind that I want to do. So I'm gonna skip this. All right, I got something in mind.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room.
Bucket!
What new mysteries lay in store for our bucket-loving heroes today? Let's find out.
The bucket as always.
Stanley,
the bucket is love, the bucket is life.
This was not the correct way to the meeting room, but Stanley had felt the bucket calling to him, telling him
I know
that
where
the
I'm
employee
going. Just
lounge
trust me.
was simply the place to be. And here it was. Had the
Place
bucket turned out to be correct? Was this better than the meeting room? No, never mind. The bucket was wrong.
He sounds so
Stanley
disappointed.
took the door on his left to go back to, and so
And
the
just
two of them
the-
detoured through the maintenance section and walked straight ahead to the opposite door.
I'm just the disappointment in his life. You know, I like making the narrator sad. But no, let's see how this progresses.
Stanley, I'm glad
I've
you
got an
found your
idea
way.
of something I
knew
want to
you'd
try,
find this place eventually.
but I have to play through it. So
You see, your friends and I are concerned for you, Stanley. We've come together here because we care about you very much. It's this bucket you're
giant
carrying around
baby.
everywhere. The bucket isn't even from the original Stanley Parable. It's just sequel content. We're the ones that matter, Stanley. Classic characters from the
maybe I've
first
changed
game,
my mind
like
about
the
the bucket.
Adventure Line and
I
the Brew
just want to
Closet.
see something that
Because
happens.
that's what
But the
fans
bucket
want
is
from a
still
sequel.
love
They
and
want
life.
more of their favorite jokes, not this bucket that they've never seen before. Yes, I know I'm the one who gave you the bucket, but you're spending too much time with it. Don't you want another story involving the Adventure Line? We could make the Adventure
yes.
Line go somewhere new. Yes, that's what the fans want. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Whee! Look at that wacky line. Who knows where it'll go off to next? Oh, and it played some silly music as well. Now this is what the Stanley Parable is all about. Don't you remember all those great jokes from the original dialogue?
Also, Stanley is addicted to drugs and hookers.
Yes, it's as classic now as it was back then. Let's do it for the fans, Stanley. Let's give them more content exactly like this. But if we want to do that, you're going to have to give something up.
You know, the bucket is love, the bucket is life. But I'm gonna get rid of the bucket.
Don't
I
you
want to
think,
see what
Stanley?
happens.
We need to get rid
We
of
tried this the first time we played
That's
this,
why I'm
but I
very
want to see what
proud
happens when we
introduce
get
a
rid of
brand new
it.
character. This is the Bucket Destroyer.
Ooh.
I think it'll make a wonderful new
I'm gonna
addition
listen
to
to
the
him
rich
this
lore
time.
of the Stanley Parable. True, it also was not in the original game, but it's such a well-fleshed-out character with so much personality that to me it already feels as though it's been part of the cast all along. Don't you agree?
Oh yeah. Look at that.
Can you
Look at
guess
that.
what the Bucket Destroyer does?
I feel like
Surely you
that's
don't need me
a
to spell
very
it out for
complicated
you.
way to destroy a bucket. Just
Go ahead now, Stanley. Say goodbye to the bucket, and then pop it into the machine when you're ready.
alright, well, how do I? Sir,
Now listen to me. It's crucial that you give it the bucket.
can I even put
I
this
don't
in?
know what the Bucket Destroyer will do if it can't destroy your bucket. Destroying buckets is all it knows. That is its singular personality trait. Sure, I can hear you saying, how does a character with only one personality trait deserve to join the pantheon of beloved Stanley Parable characters? Well, you see, if you were to really explore the Bucket Destroyer, you would see that its desire to crush buckets is so densely loaded with complexity and nuance.
Trying to throw this, but it won't let me throw it.
Personality traits. What other object in this game can you even say that about? The broom closet? Certainly not. I wonder what sort of Bucket Destroyer merchandise the fans will be clamoring for after this. Okay, the Bucket Destroyer is getting very upset now. You'll have to hurry and feed it. We can't get back to the classic Stanley Parable characters like the Adventure Line or the Bucket Destroyer until you crush that damn bucket. Quickly now, the fans are waiting. Do it, the fans, Stanley. Give the fans what they want. Hurry and...
I tried, narrator. Huh. The bucket has a mind of its own. This is why the bucket is live.
My prized creation. You
had
so much potential.
Bucket is
we
love.
were going to do such marvelous things with you, tell such spellbinding stories about you. All of it squandered now. Goodbye, new friend.
Oh, wow.
For the moment in time that you were here, you were magnificent.
It's true. All right. Well, I couldn't throw the bucket, so that kind of squashed that plan. But I don't know. Maybe that's intentional.
All his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Let's go without the bucket. I want to go somewhere without the bucket. I want to do it.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow. Yes, this room. What a beauty. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
I don't think so.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Oh,
in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do.
You know, I think there's a way to survive that. I kind of want to look that up.
To his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Let's see.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
I'm just gonna try crawling along, see if he notices. I don't know.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it.
Alright, looks like there's not much to that. I was hoping to see if he would notice that I was crawling.
Sublime, a work of art. But
could change that one.
Back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
No, let's go in here.
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story,
not much I can do to
tell him what to do,
survive that fall.
Stanley leapt from the platform and
alright, let's try.
Good job, Stanley.
Let's try a different
Everyone
path.
thinks you are very powerful.
I am very powerful. Don't you forget it.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply... Now this, Stanley thought to himself, this is a bucket. And indeed it was.
It's a bucket? I didn't know this was a bucket.
Stanley clutched the bucket.
Oh, I know.
tightly
Let's
to his
go to
chest. This was not
that
the correct way to the meeting room.
bucket game
Stanley
room.
had felt the bucket
The is it a bucket
telling
game
him
room?
that the employee lounge was simply the place to be. And
That's
here
kind
it
of what I
was.
want to
Had
try.
the bucket turned out to be correct?
I
Was
want
there
to try a
no-
different
Never
series
mind.
of responses.
The bucket was wrong. Stanley took the door on his left to go back to the meeting room.
No,
Said the bucket.
don't go to the meeting room. Go somewhere else. The cargo lift. Good.
Said the bucket.
Now ride the lift all the way to the top. There's something up there I need you to do.
Stanley did not question why or how this bucket was speaking to him. It should have alarmed him, of course, because buckets can't talk. But Stanley chose not to think about this obvious fact. He was firmly convinced that the bucket had spoken to him, and he unthinkingly did whatever the bucket asked.
Let's do it.
No, stop. Look there on the wall. You see, there's a sign right there. It says, no
I
buckets
forgot.
past
No.
this point. Stanley, how could you think it was okay to bring the bucket here?
Because I am a leader,
problem is that
not
you
a follower.
actually don't know what is a bucket and what isn't a bucket. I suppose that would explain a lot about your behavior up to this point. Which, if that's true, well, my goodness, I think we have to do something about it. This misunderstanding could have dire consequences on the entire rest of the game if not addressed quickly and properly. So much of the impact of the story is dependent on your understanding of what is and isn't a bucket. Please, step in here for a minute.
Let's do it.
Now then, I'm going to run you through some test scenarios, and you'll tell me whether or not the thing I'm showing you is a bucket. Simple enough, right? This should tell us everything we'll ever need to know about what is or is not a bucket. Okay, let's begin.
Alright guys, this time I'm going to say nothing is a bucket instead of everything is a bucket.
Correct. It is a hologram of a bucket, not an actual bucket.
Cool.
Item
Yeah,
2.
that bucket is not a bucket.
Is this a bucket? Correct. It is a 3D printed recreation of a bucket, not an actual bucket. Item 3. Is this a bucket?
Definitely not.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
I don't know. I thought that wasn't a bucket. What do you think?
Item 4. Is this a bucket?
No, that's a tractor. Come on. Nothing's been a
Correct.
bucket so
this
far.
is a tractor and not a bucket. To be honest, I just sort of put this one in here as a gimme, but I was starting to get concerned that even this might be too much for you.
Oh,
Thank
the
you for not
narrator's
making me
starting
look
to
like
like me.
Okay,
How nice.
Is this a bucket?
Nope. Definitely a tractor.
Incorrect. This is a bucket.
What? No, that is clearly a tractor. Come on.
Item 6. Is this a bucket?
No, the bucket is not a bucket.
Trick question. Both. Gotcha.
I like how the answers do remain consistent. That's fun. Oh, man. You'd think maybe he was just like making things up as he went
I
along.
can't find the next one. Let me see. It should be around here somewhere.
Here, I'll help you look. But I can't leave the stage. Why can't I leave the stage? I'm trying to think this stage could be the same stage from the last week's episode. Man. Well, that is not a bucket.
Yes. Thank you. There's nothing here. Of course it isn't a bucket. We both know full well that nothing isn't a bucket. Wait, when I say nothing isn't a bucket, that makes it sound like I'm saying everything is a bucket, which of course is not true.
He's
Unless-
having an
Is
existential
that what you
crisis.
think? Answer me straight, Stanley. Are you trying to tell me that you believe everything is a bucket? You know what? I'm too confused to even sort it out. I've
I
lost
think this
all
just
sense
ended
of
the same
perspective.
way.
What is a bucket? What isn't a bucket? Mere moments ago, I could answer these questions with confidence. And yet now I'm somewhat adrift. Do any of us know what a bucket is? Am I
Wow.
a bucket? Stanley, I can't keep doing this. I'm losing myself, and myself was all I ever had to begin with.
I think
I'm
that's
afraid
your
the bucket
fault.
is threatening to tear our relationship apart. I can't have that. I'm sorry. But I'm going to erase all buckets from the game entirely.
All right.
Okay, here we go.
And same thing. Yeah, no, this is the same
What
thing that happened before.
Was everything gone? Why did everything disappear? Wait, was everything a bucket?
Everything is
Every
bucket.
single
The bucket
thing in
is
the game is a
love. The bucket is
bucket.
life.
Oh my God, I had no idea. How could... Except me. I'm not a bucket after all. And you,
That's
Stanley,
what I said.
You're still here. You're not a bucket either. Oh, this is wonderful news. We're not buckets. Yes, I actually feel much more at ease right now. It's delightful to get some clarity on that issue, but it doesn't change the fact that we haven't got a game. So, tell you what, I'll reset everything and we'll put back all of the buckets, okay?
Okay.
And we'll know that it's all a bucket. But if you run into anyone else, maybe don't mention that. Who knows what that information might do to a person? All right, here we go.
See, here's the thing. The narrator's just crazy. He is just bonkers because he just ended with the same realization, even though I answered the questions completely differently. I think he's already on the path
What could it
to
mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting
despair.
room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
No more bucket. Man. What do I do without the bucket? Where do I go?
When Stanley came to a set of two
Let's go
open
to the
doors,
left.
he entered the door on his left.
Let's go this way.
Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Let's keep following him. Let's let him be happy.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to
Do
discover
some
not an
4-5.
indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number. 2845.
2845.
But of
That's
course,
what it was.
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this.
Yeah, but you just told me, narrator.
Yet incredibly,
Do
by
we know
simply
we're
pushing
talking to each
random
other?
buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Let's go this way. And let's see if we can find a new
Descending deeper
path.
into the building,
I've
Stanley
played this
realized he
game
felt a
enough
bit
to know that
peculiar.
there's,
It
you know,
was
kind of a
stirring of
limited
emotion
number
in
of
his
ways I
chest,
can go,
as
but
though
there's
he
also
felt
things
more
I
free
need to do.
think for himself, to question
think I'll
the nature
take-
of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
I think I'll take a week off from Stanley Parable at least and do
Stanley
some
walked
research
straight
on
ahead
some
through the
different
large door that read Mind
ways I can
Control
go.
Facility.
Let's go down this way. It says that I can escape this way.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Let's go back. I don't want to die.
But of course, Stanley thought better of it and realized he simply had too much to live for.
Alright, I'm guessing most of the rest of this will
The
happen the
lights
same way
rose
as
on an
usual.
enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out? Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building,
Ooh.
Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so
There
many
any- what is that
individuals
one over there
reduced to
say?
images on a screen.
That's what I
And
really wanna
Stanley,
know.
one of them,
I think it
eternally monitored in
purposefully
this place
blurred.
where freedom meant nothing.
Let's do this.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Oh, let's go up the elevator.
No. He refused to believe
Employee
it. He
pirate.
couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery
Let's
would
just,
never again exert its terrible power over another human life. For he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Turn it off. Yeah, power to the people. Oh, let's see. I think this pretty much ends the same way, even if you kind of take kind of different paths. But
Blackness
it is interesting
and a
to
rising chill of uncertainty.
give yourself different choices to see if it affects any of the endings. Nope, I think it's going to open to the
He
outside.
had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away.
And I did it without the bucket.
And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone?
Yeah.
How had he been freed from the machine's grasp?
The real question is,
What
did I
other
have any
mysteries did
coworkers
this
in the first
strange
place?
building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him. For it was not
I'm gonna see if I can
knowledge or
walk off
even
somewhere,
power
but
that
I
he had
don't
been
think it will
seeking,
allow me.
but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the
I've gone
cool
through the open
breeze
door.
upon his skin.
I'm out!
The feeling
I've
of
escaped!
liberation.
No,
immense
yeah, this is
possibilities
kind of
that
the
you passed
planned ending
before.
for the game,
This was
technically.
exactly the way.
But yeah,
right now,
I think I need to do some research, guys.
And Stanley was happy.
That's the happy but unfulfilled ending, I guess. But you know, it's an ending. But I think it's the ending most people get to on their own. You know, but it's just one of those things where you know, it is what it is, I guess. Yeah, I think I'm gonna take a week or two off. Maybe play some Fall Guys. One thing I wanted to kind of announce was I am gonna start streaming in a few weeks, and then some of those videos from those streams are gonna trickle over to here on YouTube, because I want to, and I'll have my Twitch link down below, because I want to play Harry Potter Hogwarts Legacy live for you guys. It's a game. It's one of the games I've been so excited about. It's probably one of the games I've been most excited about, like, in my life. And I'm just looking forward to getting my hands on it and getting to play it. I might try a stream or two before that actually comes out, just to make sure that I have everything, all the kinks worked out before I try to do it for a game that I want to be able to focus on just playing the game and doing that with you guys. But I think what I'll do is I may even play Stanley Parable off camera and try to figure out some paths and some things to show you guys. Try to get some entertaining endings and some differences. I mean, there was some fun stuff today, but this game just has so much to it, and I just need to kind of rework myself and remind myself kind of what those different things are. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, subscribe. Anything you guys can do helps a ton. And hope you guys like the new look. And yeah, I will see you guys next week.